It's a breaking news Thursday here inside the vault, the 11th of December. Forget week 15. Forget our rundown. Let's just dive right in. Jeff Zrebiec of The Athletic broke news within the last, say, 15, 20 minutes or so that the Ravens, Sarah, have reached agreement with yet another player on an extension, and that is Travis Jones. And knowing that there is a boatload of uncertainty with Nnamdi Madubuike's future, and knowing that Travis is a budding star who commands a double team type of presence from opposing game plans week in and week out, and knowing that he was a day 2 pick that really has developed within this Baltimore defensive scheme over the last several years. What a big move for Eric DeCosta, who's been busy in recent weeks. Jeff was first. It's a deal that keeps him in Baltimore through the 2028 season. Schefter has the terms. It's 3 years, $40.5 million. And again, it keeps him in Baltimore through the 2028 season. We'll get into more specifics from Jeff. We'll get into where he stacks up against his peers league-wide. But Sarah, obviously, this is a big deal for the middle part of the Ravens front, and obviously their efforts for stopping the run over the next several years.
This is the first of, I hope, many moves that the Ravens will make to rebuild their trenches, both on the defensive side and the offensive side of the ball. And Travis Jones is a great piece to start with. He's a great foundational piece. You mentioned Nnamdi Madubuike. His future is uncertain. What a wonderful thing it would be if Travis Jones had this breakout year and he was playing with Nnamdi Madubuike, who, by the way, is still second on the team in terms of sack leaders for the Ravens, which is just a commentary that really is for another day. But, Travis Jones, I feel like since the moment he was drafted, people have been talking about his potential. And there have been years where it's like, oh, is this going to be his breakout season? Is this going to be his breakout season? There's been injuries along the way. He's been healthy, and thank the Lord for that, because the Ravens have needed him. They have leaned into him with the defensive line being so beat up and thin. He takes a massive amount of snaps. He has been, he's just been a foundational piece. And so it almost became a no-brainer. This contract puts him at a contract average of about, where did I see that here, where he ranks? We've got Nnamdi Madubuike ranks 4th in the league among interior defensive linemen with an average of $24.5 million per year. The Ravens are going to have to figure out, they'll figure out, they know what his future is. We don't. They have a much better idea than we do. But Travis Jones is now averaging 13.5. So that puts him 27th in the league. So, assuming that this is up to date on this spot rack list that I'm looking at. 3 years, $40 million. That seems about right. So not paying him absurd money, but certainly well worth it for the Ravens. And it sounds like, Bobby, Jeff gave some more details of how this all kind of went down at this point and why it's coming out now. Like with Mark Andrews, we knew, hey, the Ravens were trying to get Isaiah Likely. They couldn't get a deal. They're like, okay, let's just move on and let's get Mark Andrews. But with Travis Jones, it sounds like he's had a situation similar to what Rashad Bateman had a few years. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is correct. And that is exactly what Jeff provided some context on, which we're going to get to in just a second. Listen to Chuck Smith over the summer speak so glowingly of 98, who, again, if you're just tuning in, is now in Baltimore under contract with his new extension through the 2028 season. Dr. Rush?
Jones is fantastic. Travis Jones is a pass rusher that I'll put him out there one-on-one with 95% of the offensive guards in the league, and they can't block him. Travis Jones is getting ready to be one of the best interior rushers in the game. Last year when he was healthy, he was one of the best interior rushers in the game. The film doesn't lie, nor do the respect he has from the other teams. Travis Jones he's skilled up. And one of the things when I first got here, we talked about, and some of the people that were here, we talked about we want everybody to have a skill. Whether you're big, you're small, you're a cornerback, a linebacker, we want everybody to have skill. Travis Jones has multiple moves, and he does a chop drive. He can do a hump. He can do long arms. He can do everything. Travis Jones, if things go the way I see it for Travis Jones, and the way I think the overview of our team goes, Travis Jones has a chance to be a Pro Bowler. He's as good as any defensive lineman nose guard in the National Football League. And I think this year, when he stays healthy the entire season, I think he'll prove it and put it on tape.
High praise for a guy, Sarah, that obviously it's an indication of how they feel and what they feel like they have in Travis Jones, who's just been extended by Eric DaCosta, breaking news. And Jeff, with some context, as promised here, Travis is playing on the 4th year of his rookie contract, but like Rashad Bateman, as you just alluded to, and the situation that he found himself in 2024 prior to his extension, Travis didn't get accrued a season as a rookie because an issue came up with the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA. So Travis was on track to only be a restricted free agent after this season. The NFL Players Association filed a grievance against the NFL on his behalf. The hearing was scheduled for today. That's Thursday, the 11th. Jones's agent, Jared Fox, and the Ravens met before the hearing and hammered out the extension. The Ravens got aggressive to get the deal done and make sure Jones was content with the contract. If Jones had won the grievance, he would have been an unrestricted free agent in March. If he lost, he would have been a restricted free agent and likely headed for the second round $6 million tender. That's a moot point now. And Jones, who the Ravens coaching staff loves, as we just heard from Chuck Smith, is signed through 2028. So, wow. First of all, going back to 2024, we had this exact conversation, as Jeff just alluded to, with Rashad Bateman. What did the Ravens do? They did right by the player. But when now you look at both of these deals, Sarah, and where they stack up for their respective positions, you just mentioned 26th, 27th league-wide, respectively, or I should say among interior defensive linemen, and from a payment perspective, given what he's expected to be, given what he's shown to be since they drafted him in the 3rd round out of UConn. I mean, what a great deal that has probably a good potential of aging very well from a team perspective.
Yeah, Jeff's report on that just reminds me so much of like so many backdoor deals you hear when people are going to court, and you don't want like your destiny to be put in the hands of a judge or a jury. And it's like, you don't know how they're going to rule. The Ravens were like nervous that they'd rule him to be an unrestricted free agent. He and his agent sound like they were nervous that they'd be ruled a restricted free agent. So then they're like, guys, how about we do this? Instead of leaving this up to this arbitrator or judge or whoever makes this decision, like, let's find a deal that makes both of us happy, and neither one of us has to take that risk. And for Rashad Bateman, I remember he felt so grateful. Remember, Rashad, he fired his agent over the whole like not accruing that extra season. Doesn't sound like Jones was going to do that. They were looking to file that grievance because they felt like they were due that accrued season. So, but good for both of them. They were like, hey, neither one of us want to risk what's going on the other side. One of us is going to lose and one of us is going to win. How about we find a way for both of us to win with the new deal that we can agree to?
Yeah, and a win for the Ravens right now, who obviously are getting a player that is a run stopper specialist now in his prime moving forward, under contract for the next several years. Again, that includes the 2028 season for him. Jonas Schaefer just tallied up a bunch of statistics that speak exactly to that in terms of his efforts against stopping the run. In 2023, his run stop rate was 11.5%. That ranks 7th among defensive linemen with 150 run snaps. In 24, 8%. That was 23rd. And so far this season, he ranks 7th at 11%. So that's the exact trajectory that you want, obviously, for a player that has, as you already mentioned, how many games come to mind last year? I think it was an ankle where this guy is just clearly laboring, clearly with over 300 plus pounds of weight that he carries. By the way, he's 6'4", 341. This isn't exactly a normal human being. And then when you're dealing with a lower body injury like an ankle and you're hobbling through and somehow, some way, you find it within you to finish last season the way that he did. I mean, salute to this guy's resilience, salute to this guy's toughness, and salute to the Ravens front office.
Just a couple before you get to that. Just want to get a couple more stats here in terms of this year. So this year he's got 34 tackles, just 1.5 sacks in his 12 games. So among full-time starters, he is 13th He's the 13th highest graded interior defensive lineman in the NFL per PFF, which would just make Coach Derek Coleman be like, why are you even citing PFF? But now like I said, the Ravens have relied heavily on him with all the snaps. Here are the snaps. He's played 67% of them. That's a lot for an interior defensive lineman. That is a lot for him. Now, here's the thing. He's been better against the run. He's excelled against the run. Obviously, the 1.5 sacks, that's not going to get it done. The Ravens, we've talked so much about Myles Garrett has more sacks than their entire team. Something crazy like that. So I like this move, but the Ravens are going to want to pair him with somebody who does have a little bit more pass rush specialty, which is why he and Nnamdi were such a good duo. And if Nnamdi can't come back, they've got to figure out who that will be, because Travis Jones just hasn't gotten enough in the sack department, but still a solid foundational piece to bring in, along with a few more that they might have to do, which I know is what you were alluding to a minute ago.
That's what Schefter took a look at, just listed some of the players that, are entering contract years or in the middle of contract years. Players like Tyler Linderbaum, who they declined his 5th-year option this past offseason. Isaiah Likely, who we think is going to be elsewhere in 2026. Alohi Gilman, who they brought in at the deadline. Kyle Van Noy, who obviously has been and I mean this respectfully, a Band-Aid the last couple of years, who's played really well for them, given his age and given that he was, as he would say, on the couch a couple of years ago when they brought him in season in 2023. Daniel Fa'alele, I won't say anything else there. And Patrick Ricard, who's been on a 1-year deal the last couple, I think, at least this year was a 1-year deal for him. So just a couple of the many that they'll have to make a decision on. And let's get an update on where the poll stands, because I threw something out there pre-show that now has 303 votes and counting. So go ahead and make your voice heard. Which player outside of Lamar should be prioritized in extending from this point forward? And leading the way by a comfortable margin is indeed Tyler Linderbaum at 62%. Alohi 6%. Cheeto, who was not on Schefter's list, who I think is certainly deserving of at least a conversation, and maybe that won't be a priority, but he's at 13%. Ricard's at 19%. So that would be second. Ricard would be second. Linderbaum leading the way so far. Get your votes in there. We'd love to hear from you.
So, yeah, I agree with the pollsters. Tyler Linderbaum would be the guy. Again, you need work on both guard positions. I wouldn't want to throw in a new center on top of that. I know Linderbaum has had a down year. Everybody has. So to me, it's more like let's get a new offensive line coach. Let's get some new guards, but let's keep Tyler Linderbaum. Is kind of my thought there. Isaiah Likely is already going to walk after the Mark Andrews stuff. We already know what happened there. Kyle Van Noy, it might be time, right? Might be time to hang him up.
I think so.
Bobby, I am bracing for the day that the Ravens announce an extension for Daniel Fa'alele. Are you bracing for that day?
That would fall under the... Well, actually, this wouldn't be in the same ballpark. But remember when we were so surprised when they gave Ben Cleveland that 1-year deal, and we were all thinking to ourselves, what? We just heard about the suspicion of DUI, the arrest, everything that took place the last several years.
Him and John, like, what?
He and Harbaugh are clearly at odds. Like, what? And so I was going to say that it would fall into that file. No. It would be in a different universe of surprise.
Yeah. Because at least we know John likes Daniel. Like we felt like John didn't like Ben. So like, what was the point? Still asking that question.
Yeah.
So
I think we'll all have to brace ourselves for sure.
Yeah.
For the day of we may have to open up the guest lines that day.
Let everybody like do group therapy that day. And Pat Ricard, like he's somebody who you can wait on. I don't think it like is a priority. I think there's just not a lot of fullback signings. He's had a bit of a down year, partially because of the calf. Or a big part of that is the calf injury that he had. So here's what's interesting to me. They actually have quite a bit of work done. I know this is a little bit smaller. But on the collective, you and Jeff were talking about this, like the foundation of there's a lot of foundational pieces already set for next year, especially now that they re-signed Mark Andrews and now they have Travis Jones. Those were two big dominoes. But obviously there's Lamar, and you still have to address his contract. I mean, $75 million is prohibitive. Roquan Smith's under contract. We'll see what happens with Nnamdi Madubuike, but that's a $31 million cap hit for next year. Marlon Humphrey's still under contract. Kyle Hamilton's under contract. Ronnie Stanley, Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, Broderick Washington, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Justice Hill, Malachi Starks, Nate Wiggins. So obviously what's missing, we already know what's missing. It's pass rushers, and guards, and then you'll need some things here and there, but the foundational pieces, a lot of them are actually intact.
I was going to say, and that's what you were alluding to. Jeff kind of went down that conversation unprompted. And this isn't a rebuild. Like if things continue to slide over the next month, these closing 4 weeks, then change is clearly going to be necessary. How much that change and how high up that change goes remains to be seen. And we know that, Steve's going to keep that close to the vest, and we'll know when we know. But there's not going to be a rebuild in terms of the foundational personnel pieces that you just referenced. And so if you are looking for an area of optimism, one, as long as Lamar's under contract, you're always going to have a chance. And two, it's not just Lamar that is part of this foundational core, if you will. That's all in Baltimore for the foreseeable future. And you can now add, obviously, big number 98 to that list. Let's get a read in here, some super chats, and then shift gears to what everybody's talking about, aside from the Travis Jones breaking news, and that is a new normal, perhaps, that's developing from a practice routine habit in Lamar Jackson's case. So we'll get to that in just a bit. We appreciate you guys for being with us on this Thursday. If you could, on the way in, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. And we just dropped a few new items on our merch line for winter gear at thevaultpod.com/shop. So we'd love for you to go check that out. And shout out to Carly for making that happen. The discount code, first and foremost, multiple people have reached out to us being that it was deactivated for a while. And you guys want to know why it was deactivated? You guys were using it too much. So thank you. It's now been reactivated. Vault 10. That's code Vault 10. We'll get you 10% off your next purchase. And as Christmas nears and the holiday seasons, we're all entrenched in it. Perhaps you guys will pop on mantasleep.com. Go check out what they have for you. Their sleep masks, first and foremost, give you true 100% blackout for a deeper sleep. You've got C-shaped eye cups for unbeatable side sleep comfort. Zero pressures applied to your eyelids or lashes. And advanced materials like the one that you see on the screen, the ones that you see on the screen, are built in with ventilation for unmatched breathability. You see a couple of the new ones, including the Sound Mask New Gen, the Sound Mask Previous Gen. I know Aiden is an advocate of that one. I'm pretty simple. I like the Manta Sleep Mask Pro. There's not a night or a road trip or a flight that I am on without my sleep mask. It's just become gospel. It's become something that's always with me and easy to travel with. Not just sleep masks, though, or what they have available to you. Sleep earplugs, toggle through that section. The white noise machines are phenomenal. And a lot of the sleep add-ons as well could be good stocking stuffers coming up later this month. And the bundles, too, kind of put all in one for you. So thanks to Manta Sleep for the continued support of our program. It's our longest standing sponsor. And again, thanks to you guys for using that code, because when you support our brand sponsors, you're directly supporting the show, and that does not go unnoticed. Why don't you take Hefe here, who seems to be, this should be good. Hefe, for you, our first super chat of the afternoon.
Oh, boy. Are you sure I should take it? It seems like it's addressed to you. He says, on Tuesday, Bobby said, quote, I wouldn't expect a diehard fan to be okay with Fa'alele not facing the media. Given that you are okay with it, did you just admit you're not a fan?
Man, there is an obsession about my fandom or lack thereof, isn't there, Hefe? I just downplayed it. I downplayed the significance of it in that moment. Sarah and I were on a different level of passion that day, and that's really all it was. Deshaun Davis says, if 77 gets re-signed, we would legit have to not support the team until he's gone. By the way, I don't think Daniel, and we've referenced this a couple times, Sarah, within the last week or two, I don't remember the last time that he has addressed the media, whether it be through a scrum or in a podium setting.
I honestly don't know. Now, that being said, offensive linemen aren't generally talked to a lot. But given his play, it's shocking.
Tyler and Ronnie certainly speak in scrums pretty often.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know? So
yeah,
anyway.
I don't hear from Rosengarten very often. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't know. It's probably a question for the media that are in there. Like, how often do you guys try? Like, they obviously put out the report on Sunday. Like, how often do you guys try? We're not in those scrums.
And maybe someone
can ask
deep
Jeff
dive
that
for
the
us.
next time you're on the collective. Maybe he's in there.
I could.
Okay.
And
Can
one
you
of
do
our
that for
Vaultrons.
us?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm happy to. One of our Vaultrons as well could maybe go deep diving into the YouTube channel to see when the last time Daniel addressed the media. Maybe it was like in an OTA session a couple of years ago, or training camp, or something along those lines. But it's been a long time, if ever. Zachary Howard 7618 says, so who's ready for the Orioles? And Mr. Polar Bear. Sarah, yesterday when we were live, I know you saw this. Pete Alonso was signed to a 5-year, $155 million contract, represented the first true splash, if you will, of this new era of Orioles baseball, and new ownership, of course, led by David Rubenstein. So, yeah, I think it's a great start, Zach, right? And obviously it's a deviation. They're deviating from what they typically do when it comes to spending this time of year, which I think is cause for celebration. But hopefully they're not done. They need an ace, and they need to continue to expand out their rotation. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking. We all know that. The Flock 52 is celebrating 2 months of channel membership.
He says, what's your confidence level we make the playoffs? Love watching you guys. Best Ravens media coverage. Thank you. Okay, should we do this on a scale from 1 to 10? Mine has dropped for sure. And I'm nervous about the Ravens' ability to keep up with scoring against Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and company. But the field is also kind of weak, so I keep thinking the Steelers may lose some more. Oh man, I stuck my chest out for weeks saying I thought they were going to win the division. But these last 2 games have obviously hurt their chances.
Well, while you think about that number, obviously we're coming up in a couple minutes here on
let's come back to it.
Let's come back to this, because there are scenarios, and I think we come up with that number after we lay out the scenarios for you, Flock 52, because there are several that can work out and may work out for the Ravens to get in. Yeah. While you keep seeing that 24% number, that seems like it's few and far between, but there are very realistic scenarios that can happen for the Ravens to get in. So we'll revisit that in the coming minutes.
I like that.
Dre Dog is celebrating 9 months of channel membership with us. What's going on, Dre? Travis Jones and CJ Okoye inside, 6'4", 340 pounds, 26 years old. 6'6", this is CJ. 380 pounds, 24 years old. That's a combined weight of 720 pounds. Get some pass rush and depth around them. They could be a crazy combination over the years.
I'm also curious how Peebles is progressing. He's been deactivated.
I don't know if they trust him against the run. Yeah, he's been a healthy scratch at times this year.
It's crazy because they were singing his praises early and they were using him early, and now he's like, he's been a ghost.
And then came Taven Bryan signing, right? The veteran D tackle who went on IR. And then this past week they went with Josh Tupou as a practice squad elevation, and and the corresponding move was Aeneas, to your point, being a healthy scratch. So perhaps still developing in his rookie year. Corona guy is here with us.
Corona says, O's making moves. Ravens can't hurt me anymore.
There you go. Shannon Sharp would disagree. Lewis is telling, he literally.
Shannon's hurt by Daniel.
His voice cracked during that segment. Like, I'm hurt is what he was screaming to Ocho. And Ocho's like, really? Lewis is celebrating 9 months of channel membership. And he writes, do or die playoff game against Cincy, and Lamar is NIR. We're getting to that right now. Not a good look. Love you both. Busy with the season as usual. Letter carriers are busy. Lewis, we appreciate you, man. Good luck out there. And stay warm. Queon's with us.
Queon says 77 is going to be re-signed. He's cheap. Brace for it. I wouldn't mind him as a backup. Right? Like a backup. But he better not come. Yeah, he better come cheap. Oh. Let's just move on.
All right. Sounds good. Well, let's get some breaking news update on TJ Watt.
They all are saying no for a backup. They're dying. They're like in the chat. No.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, who would you guys rather have, Laken Tomlinson or Daniel Fa'alele as a backup? Bert Lawton, longtime Steelers PR rep, just gave an update on TJ Watt. I know the Ravens don't see him for another month, but it's obviously relevant to the AFC North. TJ is currently in a local hospital for further medical evaluation of his lung after experiencing discomfort at the practice facility Wednesday. Oh. He will not be at practice on Thursday, and his status for Monday's game against the Dolphins, which is a big deal, is in question. Tomlin will provide more updates at the appropriate time.
Yikes.
Just to keep everybody updated on that. Lung. That's a little scary. But, okay. Let's transition here. And I think Lewis led us nicely here into Lamar, which we're going to get to in just a second. Over 1,800 concurrents at the moment. Thank you guys for being with us. Like the video if you could. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. And now let's talk about the first of 3 injury reports, Sarah, that dropped on Thursday afternoon. And for a 5th straight week, Lamar was, I guess, not at one practice. We don't know if he's going to be at multiple. I was going to say at least one because we don't know the week's over yet. But the hope is the trend will continue in terms of one practice being missed.
I feel fairly confident he'll be back later today.
Hopefully, because when I say 5 straight weeks, right?
Yeah.
When I say 5 straight weeks, which dates back to the Vikings week, it's been one practice each week that he's missed for an ailment. The only thing that changed this week is that it was not ailment related. This was not a physical setback, at least based on the injury report's labeling. It is NIR, non-injury related. You see the rest of this group as well. I'll rip that off real quick before we get into the Lamar topic as a whole. Cheeto popped up with a shoulder. He was a DNP. Keaton Mitchell, who John Harbaugh said was day-to-day on Monday with that knee, he was limited. Tavius Robinson sure sounds like a guy that is going to play. We'll have some sound on him coming up later on. That foot has kept him down for multiple months. He was limited. Ardarius Washington, another full participation day for him with that Achilles. And Nate Wiggins, who left, at halftime Thanksgiving night and then played Steelers week, he was limited with a foot. Let's get to Lamar. It's a 5th straight week, Sarah, and everybody's talking about this new practice routine. Is it a new normal for him to be missing key days like install days where it's heavy game planning, it's heavy strategizing? Now, at the same time, this is year 3 with Lamar and Monken, so you want to give him that level of trust. Or if John Harbaugh, for his words on Monday, you want to respect the player from a judgment perspective, but you also hear the Lewises as well. It's tough on a week that you got to have. This is a got to have it game yet again, and no practice for Lamar to begin the week.
Yeah, this is interesting. So there are definitely positions where you see a lot of guys take veteran rest days. Ronnie Stanley gets them. TJ Watt gets them. We just talked about TJ. Prayers up to him, by the way. They're like veteran rest days are normal, but they're not as normal for quarterbacks. And we've been talking about, obviously Lamar's not playing at a super high level since he injured his hamstring. He was before that. I mean, he led the league in touchdown passes before he was injured, led the league in quarterback rating, all of that. And so the reason why it's less normal for a quarterback to not take rest days is because there's a ripple effect. Obviously, especially on offense, the quarterback is the sun, which creates the gravitational pull, and planets rotate around it, And so for a quarterback to miss, it's not just that he's missing his own practice, but it kind of like makes things a little bit less efficient across the offense. And so it hasn't been surprising that he would need to miss practice when he had those ailments. This time around, it's just rest. And by the way, Lamar Jackson indicated last week, remember he got his foot stepped on? He said he was going to take a rest day anyway last week. So this sounds like this would have been implemented last week had his foot not been stepped on. So John Harbaugh was asked about this Monday. You kind of alluded to it, but I want to read his full answer.
I got it right here if you want it.
You have the audio?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's play it then.
Yeah, let's let it rip.
So, you want to have everybody practicing every day. I mean, that's what it's your goal, you know, as a coach. But it's a long season, man. I mean, these guys go through a lot. You know, Lamar, much as anybody, he's got the ball in his hand every play. He's making plays. He's doing what he does. He's competing like crazy. You know, so there's going to be times where he's just not going to be up for practice. It's just not going to be the best way to go about doing it. And that's a conversation between, you know, Lamar, the trainers. You know, we're involved in that to some degree. But, you know, what's best for him to be ready to play his best on Sunday. That's really what matters. And so, sure, you'd rather have everybody practicing all the time. But if it's not the best thing to practice because you want to get your body right, that's definitely got to, you know, I think you have to respect that as a coach. I know you have to respect that as a coach. So I respect Lamar and his judgment, and I thought he played very well. You know, I thought he played very well in the game.
And Sarah, one more viewpoint too, if we could. Matt Ryan talked about this on Sunday on CBS. Eric Weddle also spoke about it. Let's share Matt's comments first, then we'll go back to us, and then Weddle in just a second here. Here's Matt Ryan from Sunday.
Have been a struggle.
Yeah.
They have been a struggle for Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Part of that is due to injury.
Yeah.
Part of that, I think, it's not even the injury that's affecting him on the field. I think the limitations of not being able to practice during the week. You're seeing that show up with inconsistencies in the passing game.
Yeah.
And you need those reps, no matter how good you are. And Lamar, we are all huge fans of Lamar and just marvel at his ability to make plays. His explosiveness does not look the same as usual, but I also think the passing, which he has made great strides of in his career, the efficiency, the accuracy, it just has not been there. And I think that's part and parcel because you're not practicing. You got to go out there and you got to do it. You got to be on the same page with the guys that you have.
He wasn't mobile, but one former quarterback's perspective there from earlier on in the weekend. That was actually on Sunday after the game, I believe.
You saw Coach Cowher there when Matt Ryan was talking. Coach Cowher was like, yep. Like that's huge. And so John Harbaugh's audio there, you know, indicated this is Lamar Jackson's decision. He's saying, I trust Lamar's judgment. And so at the end of the day, you kind of have to balance out getting your body right. And so because there's no injury designation, that's what like makes this kind of like, so are you injured? But then Harb's saying you got to get your body right. And so it is a little bit of both though, because people are having rest days to get their bodies right. So I don't really know, like that's everybody, right? When Ronnie takes a Friday off, he's doing it to get his body right, to have him have the proper rest. Like literally, like the rest helps get your body right. And so at the end of the day, John Harbaugh is saying, I trust Lamar Jackson's judgment. That's what all of us have to do. But it is going to put more pressure on his teammates and Lamar to get that chemistry right. And that's why, you know, like snap counts or like a 2-minute drill or things like that, I trust Lamar in being able to be like, hey, I know the plays, I know this and that, but the chemistry and the install and all that kind of stuff, like, of course, how could it not have some sort of impact? And maybe they can all overcome it by doing different things, but it's going to have an impact.
We had a chance to catch up with Eric Weddle, as I know you know, the other night on The Collective, and Jeff booked him. And while he wasn't a quarterback, he played safety. He wasn't a quarterback, but he really emphasized the importance of practice for him personally in terms of how he was able to go out and have the polish and the success on game day. Listen to Eric from Tuesday.
And he's a quarterback's coach, correct?
And now his son is a two-way player, going to be a prospect. Let's just put it this way. Weddle's son, Gage, Leinert's son. There's a few others that are out there. Crazy enough that all these guys that we grew up watching that now have sons that are getting ready to play in college, they're going to be among some of the top recruits in the country at the collegiate level. And I believe Gage is going to be one of them. So yes, he is he himself said, you're about to hear it, Eric is not a quarterback's guru. It's a position that he studies, works with, and is entrenched in now as he gets his coaching career started. And oh, by the way, I confirmed with him at the very tail end of the interview that the Ravens have called him about a secondary position from a coaching perspective. Mm-hmm. And he's gotten, every year he's been out of the league, he says he's gotten at least one call for that. So do not be surprised if at some point Eric Weddle is a part of the staff in Baltimore. But anyway, here he is.
Man, he should be a 3-time MVP, and it shouldn't even have. I mean, it was I don't even know, like, the most ridiculous thing ever last year that he wasn't MVP. And I think when he just had greatness year in, year out, he kind of like, they just found a reason not to give it to him. So do I see his ascension? Man, like what he did last year from the quarterback position, I really felt like he had taken that next step of really killing people with his mind and his arm and not relying so much with his legs. And I felt like that was really the next step in his progression of being that year in and year out. And then this year, I think like he's regressed a little bit from, I coach the quarterbacks, so I study a lot of quarterbacks, and I'm not saying I'm a quarterback guru, like I'm not saying that, but there are some fundamental things that I see that I watch them that just aren't in line with consistent quarterback play, and it can easily be fixed, and it's mostly like footwork and just eyes and fundamentals of just everything in sync. As a quarterback needs to be on par when you're making throws and you're being consistent and getting completions. Like completions are everything for a quarterback, and I try to say that to Gage as he's playing quarterback and just trying to, reiterate those fundamental type things. And so I just think like it's just a little bit off with his footwork, and when he backtracks into the pocket at times, trying to escape, where if he climbed the pocket and just stay where you are and get the ball out. But those things that he's done, and he's done it at a high level, and he's done it better than anybody. So I know like he can. I just think like, just as the team, like something's a little off, and he can easily correct those things and get us back to playing at a high level and winning games.
That's a snippet from our Tuesday night conversation on The Collective. I encourage you guys to go check that out in full. Eric was really insightful, as he was there, Sarah, kind of highlighting some of the mechanical flaws that have popped up with Lamar over the last month or so.
Yeah, and I do suspect, I mean, obviously that was given before this practice report came out. I mean, I suspect, he has been dealing with injuries. I'm sure that impacts his mechanics also. He used that word regressed again. We won't get into that. I didn't like it yesterday, and I know Femi Ayendejo didn't like it. To me, it's like, well, he's injured. And so listen, at the end of the day, like it's what John said. You kind of have to trust Lamar that he knows his body, and that he feels like he will be his best self. He will bring his best self to the game if he's able to get some of these rest days in. Maybe these injuries are not like at the level of what they were to be on the injury report again, but he's still recovering from everything. And last week he did look much better, and he had planned to have a rest day. So was the Lamar we saw against the Steelers way more effective than the Lamar we've seen the previous weeks? Yes. And so the next step, though, is to get back what Eric is talking about. Let's get the consistency down. Let's get all that. And like I said, it's going to impact the chemistry for sure. And it's going to be up to Lamar and his teammates to overcome that missed day of practice. Now, while I think it's fair to talk about ask what the impact will be, I'm not on board where first thing first kind of took things. And of course, it's Nick Wright, where I feel like he is reading too much into Lamar taking rest days. Here's what they had to say. I hope I have this queued up right.
Odd situation.
Can I say something, Brew, that I think you might agree with me on?
Yeah.
I have no evidence of this. It's just what I believe. And I think I have a lot of circumstantial evidence. I think Lamar's ready for a reset. I think
Coach, not team.
Yeah, not for him. Not that he wants to go somewhere.
Right.
I think that Lamar has given us a bunch of signals this year, and he very well might be right, that, yeah, I think this iteration of the Ravens has run its course. And I think him after that game in this position, not putting in a full week of practice is actually stunning. And the coach and it being called a rest they could call it, he's been dealing with injuries. They could easily be like toe out. The fact that they are making it known, no, he's healthy enough to practice, we're giving him a day to rest. The coach is saying, you got to trust the player. Meanwhile, the player's playing the worst football of his life. The coach is on the hot seat. The division is being frittered away, and Lamar is not practicing.
And you already lost to this team.
He's taking the day, and to Coach's point, he knows everyone's work day is now less effective because I'm taking the day.
Now the only other thing I'll add, the flip side of this is if the alternative is he practices every day, but he may or may not play. Like if this is the only way that he can get to Sunday, then he just got to suffer through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bobby, listen, what's interesting is like, I actually think that the Ravens may need a reset. I've been saying since before the season started, I've said Super Bowl or bust for me. And if you can't get to the Super Bowl, maybe the duo of John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson isn't working. And so I suggested if that's the case, I mean, John could get a job anywhere in the NFL, anywhere in college, anywhere he wanted to. I think he's a great coach. I think he's a future Hall of Fame coach, but the duo hasn't seemed to work so far. So when he talks about a potential reset with Lamar and his coaching, I'm like, that's not a terrible take. That being said, that he's using this rest day as a signal that Lamar's done with his coach or with the, like, do you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not buying that. He's been injured for so long. He's coming out of that. And I'm glad that Coach Mangini kind of pushed back. And he's like, well, the flip side of that isn't that he's really like sending a message about coaching and this and that, because this would be the terrible time to do that. He could just, once the season's over, he could give Steve Bisciotti a call. It's that easy. He wouldn't torpedo himself and his team and say, no, well, now I'm not going to practice every week just as a signal. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I'm glad Coach Mangini was like, well, the flip side is if Lamar is saying you'll get the best version of me if I can get another day of rest, then you have to do that. And I think that's what's going on. And once again, I feel like, just things are just read into way too much. Just take it for what it's worth. Lamar's asking for more rest. It's been a rough season. Give him a day of rest so that he can feel like his best self on Sunday.
And that's the complicated part, because what he's doing isn't working so far.
Well,
right?
He's been injured.
Well, I'm saying the rest day. So first of all, he hasn't been injured enough not to play. Clearly, we know that he's been plagued physically for weeks now, if not months, dating all the way back to, gosh, you can go back to Femi a couple months ago when he threw out the theory there that happened week 1 against Buffalo. But for what we know is true, is the end of September in Kansas City. So that's what? That'll be 3 months at the end of this month. So call it 2.5 months where he's been banged up. So I'm not doubting that at all. We've all seen it physically. We've all seen the hits.
It hasn't been working. Like you saw him against the Jets. We saw how physically set back he was. We could all see he's injured. So when you say it's not working, like this is the first week that we're going to see it where he takes a day off and he's not listed with an injury. So when you say it's not working, but he has had injuries. So you're conflating the two. I'm saying that the either the rest or the missed practice, which has gone now 5 weeks, that routine, this new normal, if it is normal, is obviously not working on game day. How can you divorce the two? This is you said it at the top of the segment. This is the first time he's taking a rest day and doesn't have an injury designation. And now all of a sudden you want to conflate the two and say it's not working. Well, sir, he looks night and day difference against the Steelers than he did, say, against the Jets. But sir, you don't think that there could very well have easily been one of those 4 or 5 ailments that have popped up over the last month? Could have easily been on there. I'm sure if he's still injured, then you could have picked either one of those. Yes. Any one of those, knee, hamstring, ankle, toe, whatever it is, to be up there in place of NIR. But you're conflating the two, though. This is the first week that they're saying there's no ailment. And you're saying, well, it hasn't worked before. Well, he's been injured before, and we could see it with our own eyes. And now we're going to pretend that that wasn't there? He's played every single week with now for 5 weeks. With an injury. This is the first week where there is no injury designation. Why are you pretending there was no injury there suddenly? What do you mean? I'm not pretending anything. I'm just noting. You are, because you're like, oh, he wasn't there. Yeah, because he had an injury. This week is the first time there's no injury designation. So we think all of a sudden he's it's not working. Well, how do we know it's not working? It's the first time he was injured. Sarah, he still is injured. Do we believe that? Yes. They have him designated as a rest day. I'm sure his body isn't 100%, but there's obviously levels to this. So for you, you're just assuming like he for sure is still injured to the point that he should have an injury designation?
I think he's still banged up. Yes. You've
Well,
alluded to that a million
banged up,
times.
but not everybody's on the injury report.
Sir,
Everybody's banged up.
You've alluded to that a million times.
I just don't understand how you can say it's not working.
What do you mean?
Injured.
He's
been injured.
The new routine.
Like this take to me is bananas. What you're saying right now.
The new routine. If it is this new normal, whatever, you got to take the player by his own judgment, as John Harbaugh said, which I do. But it is not working. It's not working on Sunday.
You don't know. He's been injured. What if he's now not injured, but just banged up like everybody in the NFL? And we're going to see Lamar as a banged up Lamar, but not an injured Lamar. And he gets out on the field with a day off. We haven't seen this. You're acting like we have. This is new. That's why we're talking about it.
It is definitely new from a labeling standpoint. What I'm telling you is I'm not buying in on that it's just simply rest.
Okay. So that's what
I'm saying.
You're saying they're lying?
I think
they're
well, no, it's just a Lamar decision. He's telling him it's rest. It's a rest day. But my eyes tell me on game day that there are any one of lower body injuries that could very well be up there to start off the week because of the lack of zone read, lack of you name it.
Yeah. It just is odd to me that you're conflating the whole thing. You're like, it's not working.
I'm not conflating anything.
You definitely are. You're acting like this is like, you definitely are. You're like, it's not working. Well, this is the first time they've done this. So how can you say it's not working?
I think we are hung up right now on NIR. That's what's confusing this topic. I don't even think it's debate. What I don't think is a debate.
But you saw with your own eyes. He looked physically different on I'm sure there's like banged up. Bobby, just get rid of the injury designations. Lamar Jackson versus Steelers. Lamar Jackson versus Jets. Was there not a night and day difference in his physicality and how much he could run and all of that? Just use your eyes. You don't need an injury designation.
An improvement. Absolutely an improvement.
Yes. So what do you mean that you're saying it's not working?
Night and day for me.
There was an injury before.
No. I'm not just talking about the physical setbacks either. That's a part of it. I've said it a million times over the last 2 weeks that I do think he's taken nice steps forward. It's been encouraging to see, especially a couple of those quarterback keepers on the right-hand side away from TJ Watt on Sunday against the Steelers. I'm with you there.
Once we saw him, why put an injury designation then? We saw him, he looks healthy.
Well, night and day, I don't know if I'm willing to go that far. But again, everything about this offense right now is still telling me that he is far from 100%. It's not working on game day, whether it be practice, whether it be rest day, whatever it is. Missing practice is not working on game day. The polish is not there. The reads at times, the processing of the game is not there. And there have been mistakes along the way. Granted, he has shown glimpses the second half against Pittsburgh, right? When they were trying to come back from that deficit, he looked fantastic. He was fitting tight windows in to Charlie Kohler, to Zay Flowers through the air, right? There was also some mobility there, some willingness and ability to run. That's all I'm saying.
But you're not attributing it to the injuries, and that's what's mind-boggling to me. I think it's reading way too far into it. It's right in front of your face. You saw him injured. We saw the way he played. We saw how injured he was. He was gutting through it. And that's the reason why he's not playing like Lamar Jackson.
One of the reasons.
And what's the other one?
Missed practice time.
Because he's injured.
That's all a part of it. Yeah.
All right. We'll see if it's working when he's healthy and they're putting in this new routine.
Guess we will.
Coming
up on Sunday, 1:00 in Cincy.
Super chats?
Do it.
Wait, we got a couple more injury things. Hold on. Let's move on from Lamar. Let's do a couple more injury updates. I don't understand you sometimes.
Likewise.
Okay. Likewise. Okay. So John Harbaugh said he was asked about Ardarius Washington and Tavius Robinson, who both returned to practice for the first time last week. So this is their second week back. John Harbaugh said that they both have a chance to play. He also said that new special teams linebacker Carl Jones will play on Sunday. So this will get interesting if Tavius Robinson can get out there. And I'm still curious how they'll use Ardarius Washington, what type of rotation, like nickel, dime. I mean, all the different type of stuff that they could do. So this is interesting to me to see how that could go down. And by the way Harbaugh said it, sometimes he'll be like, yeah, they've got a chance. And the other times he's like, yeah, they've got a chance. And that's like the way he came across when he said this.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, first of all, I don't know how much overnight, we've kind of both alluded to this. I don't know how much of a presence Tavius is going to bring, especially given the fact that he hasn't played regular season football for a couple months now, but they certainly need anything they can get right now. Have to.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as Ardarius is concerned, not sure where he factors into the puzzle of the secondary, knowing that they're pretty comfortable back there right now. Over the last month plus since they brought in Alohi and Malachi's had a really solid rookie season. You know that Kyle's playing everywhere but there right now. But two pieces that certainly could help. Not sure if they're needle movers, but they can't hurt. And this can't hurt either, the fact that Keaton's day-to-day. So that's great news. John Harbaugh said that on Monday.
On a limited basis. Yeah.
We had that on the injury report earlier on. So Keaton was limited with that knee, and he told Cordell Woodland, quote, something wrong happened. I just had to make sure I was straight. I'll be good. Next one I have like that, it'll be a touchdown for sure. And that was on his 50-plus yard burst that we watched and then had a little fun conversation on with the live chat on whether or not he pulled up. So good news though.
Yeah, that is good news. And then Mark Andrews was asked about that play that we reviewed in the end zone on 4th down, where from the end zone angle, it looked like Lamar was targeting DeAndre Hopkins. Mark was asked about that. Here was his response.
I know you guys are putting Sunday in the rear view, but can you shed any light on what happened on 4th and 5? I think people are speculating that Lamar pass was the D-Hop right behind you.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like his eyes were pretty much locked on me, but again, I like saw, that, and, there's obviously like, the classic, hate comments and whatever it is, it's crazy. But, I'm just trying to make a play. I felt like, I was working to get open. I felt like, I was getting dragged on a little bit, so I went up to go get a ball. How am I supposed to know, D-Hop's back there? But, it's part of football.
That's getting some run online. You already know that one because that was another good back and forth we had on Monday, right? Whether or not it would have been a surefire touchdown to DeAndre there, and we had the slow-mo going back and forth. But, that got plenty of run.
It's just like, he's like, how am I supposed to know DeAndre's out there? I'm trying to remember the play. This wasn't one where he was scrambling around and everybody's doing their own thing, right? Like it would be part of the play. Like everybody knows.
Then again, though, like we talked about earlier in the week, the free range, the free reign that Mark has, maybe sometimes he's off script and improvising.
But he would still know where DeAndre is, even if he's the one who's off script. Is DeAndre off script? It seems like it was a quick pass. It wasn't. I got to go back and watch it. I can't remember if they're scrambling and they're both off script or whatever. I'm not that mad at it. Like I was more upset, obviously, of like the fumble and the drop in the Bills game. But like, listen, he was trying to make a play, and I don't know what people are saying to him online. I mean, it's fair to critique, but sometimes people online say crazy stuff. So if he's pushing back against that, that's fine. But he's like, how am I supposed to know? And I'm like, I feel like you guys should know.
I really do not want to see his DMs. They must be a scary place.
Yeah. Anyway, one last thing. This answer that John Harbaugh gave, I'm leaving the question in there, was a little surprising to me in how like defiant he was. This is on Emory Jones.
I know we asked about Emory Jones on Monday, but is the plan still to try to sprinkle him out there in the rotation form that it was before?
You mean 2 weeks ago? No, it's not the same plan as that right now, no.
Were you hoping that it was more like open door, that we'll see? Is that what you're talking about?
I thought he was going to say like, hey, Emery's getting there. Maybe we can look at it in the future. As I said on Monday, I didn't feel like he quite played up to the level of the other two guards, but he was just thrown into things. Like I thought something like that, where he's like boosting Emery, but saying, no, that's not the plan. And instead it came across as like that he's in the doghouse with Ben Cleveland. And I don't know if that's how he meant it, but that's the way it came across. Maybe he's just tired of like the questions on the guard position. Because I mean, who knows? But I was like, dang, I was like, give Emery some love there if you can, just a little bit. Because he is in a tough situation. He played tackle. Now he's over at left guard. It's like he didn't have OTAs. He didn't have training camp. He's been out for most of the season. It's a tall task. And so maybe if he was like, yeah, he just isn't quite up to par yet because of how much time he's missed. But instead he's like, nope, that's not the plan. I'm like, oh, I hope Emery, you're not mad at Emery.
Yeah, I definitely. Well, first of all, I remember Jason's grade of his, who told us that if it weren't a rookie in his debut, he'd be giving him like a C+ or around a C level grade there for those 16 snaps. But I think he was willing to upgrade him to like a B- or a B, given everything that you just mentioned that's been in front of him. I had a little bit of a spirited back and forth last night with one of my callers about throwing Emery potentially into the fire against Pittsburgh. I get it. You want a player to understand what AFC North football is like, and you used a day 2 pick on him, and you hope that he will one day very soon be able to be trusted there. I have a hard time pushing back like crazy, knowing that, and again, we're talking about left guard right now, not right guard, because we know that he's not in the running for right guard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole other conversation, because I think we all probably agree that he would have fought out there and maybe stood a little bit taller than Alele did this past weekend. But I think we also, even though it's not the vaunted Pittsburgh defense of old, I do think we have to acknowledge that they got a couple Hall of Famers, that are one day going to be in Canton on that line, and Watt and Hayward and Highsmith, a heck of a player. I know Femi's very complimentary of him. And so just throwing that out there for a guy that's got 16 snaps and is trying to successfully transition from tackle to guard, even though they had some flexibility there at LSU. Just wanted to throw that out there as something that we got into last night with a caller.
Yeah. And then finally, just Tavius talking about how tough it's been because Harbaugh said he does have a chance to come back. I listened to Tavius's scrum in the locker room. He said he doesn't even like feel his foot. Like it's not even like a problem. Like he doesn't even, he's not noticing it. And then this is him talking about how hard it's been to be on the sideline.
How are you all jacked up? Is it hard to flip off that switch? Or
honestly, like the first 2 games was like hard for me to watch because like I felt like truthfully I was letting my team know not being out there, so it was hard to even like just stomach watching my guys go out there. Once I was able to get on the sideline and kind of have the earpiece in and all that, it was easier to be a part of it. But yeah, it was hard at the start for sure.
Being forced to watch, were you able to learn anything from having that different perspective?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's a reminder to never take a snap for granted. Like, I was kind of saying when I was hurt, like I would die to just go out there and play a field goal block snap, like anything. So it's like just a reminder of never to take it for granted, and every play, every snap has to be full effort, full everything, because you never know when it's taken away. So
I feel like you did that before the injury. How do you go fuller effort when you're at max effort?
Yeah, I think it's just a reminder. So it's it's going to be about taking even another step, even more effort. So, yeah.
Thanks.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for all guys that come back from injury. Like they all say the same thing, how just like, lonely it is and tough to watch. And I mean, it's just football is in their blood. He's like, I would do anything. Like, let me come out for a field goal, snap, anything. Just let me out there. So he certainly sounds like a guy that's going to play on Sunday.
He's a good dude. Best of luck to him. You got a couple more clips down there before we get to the flexing that went on.
No,
last night.
That's part of the other clips down there for the next segment. So we could go to some super chats if you'd like.
Beautiful. Let's do that. Right now, we left off with, KP's here. He's dropped a couple 50 burgers in since we last. We're running through these. Zachary gets us back started, and he says, I'm going to become a new channel member. So, Zach, welcome to VAULTRON status. Great to have you. Dark Thunder 35, perfect segue. Right on cue. NFL flexed us for prime time against the 11-2 Patriots and 10-3-1 Packers. This is a humiliation ritual. Yes, last night, we already knew about week 16.
Yep.
Yeah, week 16,
Against
which
the
is
Patriots.
That's going to be an 8:20 kickoff, Sunday Night Football. And then now we know that week 17 in Lambeau, 2 days after Christmas, will also be on primetime. So 2 of the 4, Sarah, that we thought we were out of the doghouse on, out of the woods, I should say, when it comes to primetime football. We got 2 more on our schedule. So everybody brace yourself for some post-game live streams in the wee hours coming up in the waning weeks.
Yeah, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., stuff like that. He calls it a humiliation ritual. I mean, it could be that. I really hope the Ravens see it as an opportunity for redemption for the last way they played on primetime on Thanksgiving night. So
what's funny about it is the Sunday night
against 2 of the top teams in their conferences.
The Sunday night flex makes a lot of sense to me. You got Bengals, Dolphins in there. All right, we're going to go ahead and throw, even though there's a chance the Ravens could be out of their divisional race, we're going to go ahead and throw that in there over Miami, Cincinnati. You can respect that. What the heck? I don't respect any of this. We got 2 more primetime games to work over the next month. You got to be kidding me. So, yeah, thanks for leading us into one of our quick hits, Dark Thunder. And that brings us to Chef Trez for you.
Chef says, Sarah, SMH, no. You say you're cool with Fa'alele as a backup until someone gets hurt and Daniel is starting again. No thanks, bruh. Okay, I got you guys. I won't put that back in the universe for you. My bad. My bad. I stand down on that. I stand down.
Sort of a comparison. You were like, I'd rather have him as a backup. You know,
yes.
It was more like not sure
Thanks
you
for
were
the out, Bobby. Thanks for the out.
Not sure if you were standing tall on that one. KP, what's up, Kobe? Tinfoil hat time. I'm starting to think Lamar is going to use his $75 million cap number as leverage to get changes to the personnel and coaching staff. Everyone knows that cap number is prohibitive, and I think everyone with eyes can see Lamar isn't happy. Thanks for the 50 burger there, KP. That brings us to Deshaun.
What's funny is I think Lamar had used that pull and sway even without using his contract, but who knows? Deshaun says Lamar missing is a non-issue. The receivers need to practice catching more than anything.
There have been drops. Marone Brown says, I agree with Eric Weddle. However, when you are in survival mode due to a flawed offensive line, all fundamentals are out the door. Another 50 burger.
Head. Here we go. Kobe again.
From KP.
He says, feel free to answer later. What are your thoughts on the importance of independent media like your channel in challenging team narratives that legacy media are willing to peddle? Can ESPN be neutral if the NFL owns 10% of the company post red zone deal? Yeah, I mean, if you don't like something and you own 10%, you can speak up. And people speak up anyway, just like PR will reach out to reporters all the time, even if they're completely independent. They'll reach out and be like, what's up with this, and kind of push back. But if you're independent, you've obviously can be like, well, forget you. Independent media like ours challenging team narratives. I still think legacy media do. I think it has more to do with the person and the analyst than it does, and how much they're willing to put themselves out there than maybe it does the outlet. But I don't know. What do you think, Bobby?
I just enjoy not really answering to anyone. What we've been able to do the last 3 or 4 years.
I do too.
It's been really fun. It's been liberating. It's been freeing. It's been educational. It's been challenging at times. But we know that the whole thing that makes this go, as much as hopefully you guys enjoy our partnership and our banter, is the team. So both things are true. We don't answer to anybody, but we probably don't have much of much momentum without a team. So yeah. And then the second part of this, can ESPN be neutral if the NFL owns 10% of the company post red zone deal? No.
And I will say this, it's interesting because so I used to obviously write late for work for the Ravens website. And I think I would get phone calls or emails from other teams around the league being like, how do you get away with putting what you put on the team website inside of late for work? And I will say for years and years and years, I had more freedom than people think. And unfortunately I ticked people off in the building sometimes. But it wasn't complete freedom. It wasn't complete freedom. It was a lot of freedom, but it wasn't complete freedom. So I could see these guys having ESPN having a ton of freedom. But if there's that one time where there is a difference of opinion, then yeah, the NFL is going to have a little bit of weight with that 10%.
Oh yeah. Sudesh, thanks for the 250 burgers there, KP. It's great to have you back in our chat. Sudesh says, it's my birthday. I need the Ravens win this weekend. Sudesh, happy birthday, brother. He won our giveaway last month, Sarah. So hopefully rocking his Ravens gear today. Happy birthday, man. Whiplash 4 is here.
Says, let's be honest with ourselves. He's still banged up from the poor O-line play. It's beyond ridiculous to say he doesn't care anymore. I know. I hate that. I hate that.
Prophet Q says NIR, non-injury related, could definitely be rest. No toe that was freshly stepped on or specific knee pain to tend to. It resting in general improves his confidence. If resting in general improves his confidence and mobility, I'll take it. SMKG234 for you.
He says, y'all too funny spending 10 minutes on semantics. I don't think it's semantics. I think that's why we argued it. But maybe some people saw it differently, like SMKG. He says, Lamar missing practice because of 4 injuries in 4 straight weeks, not playing well due to both missed practice and injury. They're obviously related. They're related for sure. But we're going to find out how it'll look divorced from the injury coming up.
Dark Thunder 35. That's if you believe that he's fully healthy.
I just can't believe that you're like, I didn't say, we both agreed that he's probably banged up, but everybody is, and not everybody's on the injury report. There's obviously a difference of levels.
Correct. But not everybody's had his last 3 months. That's been on a different level.
Well, we also saw him play much better against the Steelers, but okay. We don't need to do this again.
Better in the second half.
Yes.
When they were Dark Thunder 35 in the last 3 weeks. In the last 3 weeks, the refs took 2 touchdowns off the board. Andrews and Bateman dropped open touchdowns and likely fumbled at the 1. The conversation is different if the pass catchers finish these places. No doubt about that.
No.
Kobe Pruitt is here again with a 3rd super chat.
Kobe coming in today. How do I say that? Occam's or Occam's? Occam's razor. I'm trying to remember that theory. Anyway, the Occam's razor of the guard situation is Daniel has those Harbaugh pitchers locked away somewhere.
Hold on a second. I got to Google this.
For pronunciation or for what it means?
It's a problem-solving principle stating that the simplest explanation requiring the fewest assumptions is usually the most likely to be correct, often summarized as entities should not be multiplied beyond necessity.
It's funny because he's making a joke saying that the most obvious answer here is that he has Harbaugh's pitchers. I actually say that Occam's razor is what I'm talking about with Lamar, that everybody's reading way too deep into it. Way too deep.
Oh, amazing. Occam's or Occam's, that we'll have to revisit. Captain says 2 choices, practice hurt and plays hurt. 2 choices, practice hurt and plays hurt, or rest to get more healthy, which has worked. We've seen him look better athletically. It's a weird median. Double F is here with us.
He says, one silver lining, as bad as so many games have looked this year, we have still been in a lot of them at the end. Last game between calls, mistakes, and poor play, still had a chance to win at the end.
Thanks, Double F, and thanks to everybody for being with us. Let's talk AFC North odds and why you should still, contrary to popular belief, perhaps be engaged on your team in the waning 4 weeks, Sarah. What are the AFC North odds and scenarios that everybody should be paying attention to starting this upcoming weekend?
Well, there's a few. I'm going to keep it large because this print is so small. But CBS put together the scenarios. And there are 6 of them for the Ravens to win the AFC North. And number 1, first and foremost, they control their own destiny. Win out, and you win the AFC North. That's a tough uphill battle considering the Bengals, Patriots, Packers, and Steelers, but it's there in front of them. Or they could beat this Bengals, Steelers, and at least either the Packers or Patriots. You got to win the 2 division games and then one of the non-division games. Plus, you need the Steelers to lose one of their other 3 remaining games, which I think is completely possible. So, very possible. Very possible. So 1 and 2, you got it there. Okay, how about number 3? Still win both your AFC North games, lose both of your non-AFC North games, and then the Steelers lose 2 of their 3 remaining games. Who do they have again? They have Browns, Dolphins,
Ravens.
but
Regular
there's
season
4
finale. But what's the? Yeah, let me see what the
Browns,
middle game there.
Dolphins. There's a tougher one in there. I feel like
Detroit, a big tough one.
Detroit. There you go. So that's also possible. That one's not crazy. I would love for the Browns to spoil. Oh, they love playing spoiler. Do it.
Okay.
Do it. Okay. Number 4, they could lose the Bengals, but win their other 3: Packers, Patriots, Steelers. But then the Steelers would have to lose out. Now we're starting to get into some situations that aren't so likely. Number 5, beat everybody left except for the Steelers. But the Steelers have to lose their next 3 games, and then the Ravens beat them in the end.
Take that out.
Yeah, take that out. Number 6, here's the final one. Lose the Bengals and either Patriots, Packers, and beat the Steelers. And then the Steelers would lose 2 of their other 3 remaining games. And then Bengals lose at least 1 more game.
Okay.
Maybe
There's a lot of scenarios to,
Yeah.
I don't know if like is the right word, but pinpoint
Possible.
as being realistic.
Yeah. I think there's like 3. I think there's 3 realistic ones, maybe 4-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take 5
I mean,
out.
but
I'm
is
taking
number 1
out.
realistic though? Is number 1
Take
really
1 out,
realistic?
take 5
Yeah.
out for my money.
Yeah.
You know?
It's 2 and 3 are the best ones, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, if you guys enjoy body language reading and looking introspectively, I think you'll probably find Joe Burrow's press conference very interesting yesterday. Joe obviously is 2 weeks removed from.
I think I have that, Bobby.
I have it right here.
Oh, you do have it.
And I've got it all spliced into the sound bites that you want to hear the most from his 15-minute press conference yesterday, Sarah, where body language wise, tone, voice,
His words, his actual words.
Whoa. If I'm a Bengals fan, I'm feeling very unsettled about Joe Burrow's future. You hate to go there, but just listen and then we'll talk about it afterwards. And I bring it up to say that if you need some of these scenarios to be the Bengals losing or beating the Bengals might already be beaten up right now as it is. Listen to Burrow.
Doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? So that's the mindset I'm trying to bring to the table.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it seemed frustrating.
There's just a lot of things going on right now.
Football related, personally?
All the above. Like you said, there's nothing. All we can do is focus week to week and try to win games. I don't think anybody's really thinking about the playoffs right now. That's within reach, but on our fingertips. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing and try to get better.
All right. So again, that was just one of the many. It was his 29th birthday.
That was his birthday yesterday?
Let me get that.
When he was talking?
Pretty sure it was. Let's see what his actual birthday is. Yeah, it was yesterday.
Wow.
I know a lot of people that tend to get reflective on their birthdays and maybe feel a little down. But when he started talking about if I want to keep doing this, that's what is getting the most run online. Sure, talk about the body language, talk about the tone, talk about his words, but let's focus in on those words. If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because and then they were like, are we reading too much into it? Is there something going on? He's like, there's a lot going on. And so there's 2 ways to react to this. And I probably do simultaneously. Like on one hand, I as a human, I'm like, are you okay, Joe? Like, are you all good? I know you're in the AFC North and you're a competitor and you're a division rival, all that kind of stuff, but are you okay? He's coming back from injuries all the time. And
Sarah, throughout the entire press conference, that was my thought. Because I wasn't listening from any right. I'm just listening to listen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, you genuinely hope he's good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the second thing is, though, then you put it back in the context of this week, knowing that the Ravens are going to go play him. And it's like, he looks defeated. Can you go and defeat him officially on the field? You know what I mean? Like, not defeat him as a human, but like get a win. Get a win against a quarterback who looks defeated right now.
Remember, this is a guy that stood up on the table for his 2 wide receivers to get paid this past offseason. They did. The ownership bent the knee. And now, is this a plea for a change in staff? Is it a change in Zach
or
Taylor?
trade in the future? Like, is he saying that
is he not
if
happy
he wants
in Cincinnati?
Right. Is he like, I can't do this anymore, like an Andrew Luck type thing? Like, if I need to have fun in order to have, is he talking Andrew Luck, or is he like, I can't be with the Bengals franchise and I want to try this somewhere else?
I remember he had a very similar press conference a year ago, almost to the day, when he was playing a game in Dallas against the Cowboys and his house was broken into. And I remember a press conference that was very similar to that. Now, you can understand after your house getting broken in. I mean, talk about something that doesn't make you feel very secure.
Yeah.
But you just wonder when he says, and he's not hiding from it, there's a lot going on. What is going on and how much of it's football related? So you wish the best for the human.
And just so we know, the Ravens just put on Twitter a video of Lamar going out to practice. We all assumed he'd come back because it was a rest day. So he's back. Now, in terms of these scenarios that we were just talking about, obviously, number one says win out and you get in. So John Harbaugh was asked about controlling their own destiny.
Oh, it's critically important. I mean, the ramifications don't mean nothing. I mean, to say we control our own destiny, that's only if we win. You have to win to control your destiny. So that's what we have to do. And it's been that way the last 2 weeks, and we hadn't been able to pull off a win. It was that way the previous 4 weeks, and we were able to do it. So, we need to go win. That's it. We need to win. If you win, then you have a chance to control your destiny. If you don't, it's going to be out of your hands. That's as simple as that.
I actually appreciated that. He's like, yeah, we control it, but only if we win. Like, yeah, I appreciated that because sometimes it's more like optimistic and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, sure, if we learn how to win. Here's Hamilton and what he's doing to try to get himself up and realizing he's pulling from other sports leagues and other champions and their route to getting there. And he's leaning upon that to motivate himself and what he's telling himself as he goes into this game.
Yeah, I think so. I think just the way coaches were opening meetings, just by talking, it's talking from a different perspective. I feel like, our perspective changes every time we win or lose a game. And, the record changes, the probability and what it means for the rest of the games change. Probably going to go off on a tangent here a little bit, but kind of a weird relation to your question. I was thinking just about like all the sports and all the champions that I've seen recently and just how they got there, and it kind of put things in perspective for me. Like the French Open, Carlos Alcaraz has 3 match points. He's down 3 match points, comes back, wins. Rory McIlroy loses the U.S. Open like that last year, misses a putt on 18 at the Masters. Everything looks like he's about to choke again, wins the Masters. F1 driver, I don't know if you guys watched that, but Max Verstappen, middle of the year, it looks like he's not even going to finish in the top 3 or 4 for the Drivers' Championship. Put himself in position last week to win the whole thing. LeBron down 3-1 in the finals, comes back and wins it. It's like, it never really is the Cinderella fairy tale season that it's going to be. I mean, and that just is what it is. I mean, the Patriots won all those games and then lost in the Super Bowl, and nobody really cares about the undefeated record up until that point. So it's not about how you get there, it's just a matter of you getting there. I think the mindset that we have to have is kind of like that. Like, all these great sports feats have come with challenge, and, we could be another story along that road. So that's kind of the mindset I feel like we've taken upon ourselves right now. It's kind of the mindset we need to have in order to get where we want to go. But it's going to be a heck of a story. That's what we're telling ourselves.
That's what we're telling ourselves.
That's a 24-year-old.
Yeah.
He's 24 years old.
Yeah. He's got good perspective.
If you told me he was 44, I believe you.
Yeah.
Got some wisdom.
Not based off of his physicality, but based off of his wisdom for sure.
Nope.
Yeah.
Wisdom, and he was raised right.
Yep. All right, we got a couple quick hits here to kind of like wrap things up. But Adam Schefter reported yesterday that the NFL Executive Vice President of Football Operations, Troy Vincent, he informed teams that the collective bargaining agreement between the NFL and the NFL Referees Association ends in May. So this is the final season of their current agreement, and the league views this as an opportunity, says Schefter, to take significant steps to improve officiating pending union agreement. Can they also improve NFL replay?
In New York, yeah. And there's got to be more cohesion between the two.
Yep. And that might have been our only quick hit now that I think about it. I guess I'll just get to this. Kalshi put up the biggest NFL collapses this season. The Colts, number one. How crazy is this? They had a 99% playoff chance, and now they're at 19.
But they're going to be the most watched game of the entire weekend.
Oh, with Phillip Rivers, absolutely. I'm even into like, is there a game the same time as us?
I'll take a look.
Yeah, look that up. Anyway, Chiefs fell from 95 to 20, and then Ravens are number 3, 97 to 39. Woo.
No, 425. But we're not going to have a chance to watch it.
Yeah, because we will be live.
Yep.
We can maybe watch the end of it.
For on our stuff post game, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, which was funny to have Eric on the day that all that news broke, because obviously they're buds. And Eric said that he went out to support Tony Jefferson the other night and got to see his game-winning interception, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So,
okay, we got some super chats to end on. Did we do this one yet? Oh yeah, we did the silver lining.
Yeah, Reese says mental health is real, dealing with injuries, and bad. Okay, and with injuries and bad. Okay. Bazooka Dan says could have been family related while Lamar was out.
It wasn't. They let it. They said it was rest. He was in the building.
And Jamal Backman.
He says after Sunday we will all be screaming, "Super Bowl, here we come." He says, I think Lamar is smart to rest. He's reserving his body for these last few days. Then he'll unleash the beast. Just watch, he says.
Appreciate the super chat, Jamal. Captain says Zach Taylor's last year for sure, predicting what could take place in Cincinnati. And St. Matthew says, cut the horse crap, Matt Ryan and Eric Weddle. Lamar is good enough to play / win games. The biggest issue is the O-line and the guards. Also, you can't win with the refs taking away 1 to 2 touchdowns every game. That happens every game, Matt. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Let's get some patrons as well before we're on our way out of here.
There's been 2 that have been, I don't know, each one was from the refs, but definitely 2 against the Bengals that they should have had. One because of refs. And then 1 from the refs again with the Isaiah Likely touchdown. And then again, the Ravens' own fault with the DeAndre Hopkins and Mark Andrews thing.
J Fresh 0824, Stephen M. Thank you both for believing in what we're building. We appreciate you. This is your monthly shout out. And if you guys are interested in doing the same, go check out what we got going on at patreon.com/RavensVault podcast. Thank you both, gentlemen. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, we do.
And hopefully tomorrow, hopefully we'll have a chance to catch up with a Cincinnati guest. Reached out to a couple, haven't heard back yet. So we'll wait and see. I will be live later this afternoon, and I'm looking forward to going to Raymond James Stadium, Sarah, for the first time ever. Yeah. I'm going on a first date tonight. I know you guys are shocked to hear it's a first date. I just told you about one last week. But this Thursday, it's another first date with a Tampa-based lady, and we're going to the Bucks-Falcons game. Should be a snooze fest, but hopefully the date won't be.
Yeah, you guys are going to tailgate and everything, right? It should be fun.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. We'll end there. I don't normally invite someone on a first date to a game. And it's going to easily be, $250 to sit in the lower bowl total. So obviously that's a hefty price for somebody you never know. I've never met. But when you're new to an area and you have a free night and you work in the line of work that we do,
yeah,
I want to take this chance because I'm not going to have a chance to go to a Bucks game the rest of the year probably. Unless they're in the postseason and the Ravens aren't. And our Januaries are wide open, which hopefully that's not the case. So not only credit her for saying yes, which why wouldn't she? But not because of me, but you're getting invited to a game. Like, why wouldn't you say yes? But to her also credit, she invited me to a freaking
tailgate.
Like you said, tailgate with family friends. So about to meet the whole family. About to meet the whole family an hour into knowing this girl.
I look forward to to the story afterwards. Whether it works out or not, these first dates are always good stories. I always look forward to them.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Jabba was
And
trying to get.
I said this in our pre-call show because I know you're going to go and meet a lot of her longtime friends. We have never lived in the same place geographically, but I mean, we've met 3 or 4 times in person, and like I already know you're a friend that I could take anywhere, and like you would just adapt and adjust and be like carry conversations, like not embarrass me. Like just all of it. I for sure feel like I could. So I know you're going to be just fine in this situation the entire afternoon. It will not be awkward at all.
Appreciate that. And you already know if you convinced me, which there was no convincing, to go to that YSA Mormon event, a year ago, you really think it's going to be hard to get me in most environments? I mean, I was just at a drag brunch the other day with my cousin.
You just told 2 stories of an LDS singles night and a drag night. I don't know how different it could be.
Correct.
Yeah. And I'm
Exactly.
sure you found a way to fit in both.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, Richard was my wingmate. I think he can probably attest to the performance that we put on that night in February of this year. But anyway, Femi wants me to rip tequila shots to start the night.
Oh boy. Oh boy. That could be, don't do that. Cause by the 4th quarter, you'll be like, yeah, don't do that. Don't do it.
This is hysterical. Oh man. Corey Bullock is the only Ravens player that Cordell Woodland does not see practicing. So there you have it. Not bad for them attendance wise.
Wait, Bobby, maybe you would embarrass me. The chat's reminded me, just as long as you don't talk to my friends about Lamar Jackson, based off of our newest debate today, our newest argument that we had.
Say it again.
Because I said to you that I would have no problem taking you pretty much anywhere. I feel like you'd adapt and that you wouldn't embarrass me. And they're like, yeah, just don't let Bobby talk to Sarah's friends about Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, who said who was that?
Said that? It's gonna M Daddy 006.
M Daddy, call your arson later on. EJ Woe, whoever EJ Woe 3319, call in later this afternoon. EJ Woe says you're gonna blind her with that forehead. Call later in. I bet he won't call in later on. I bet that. Khaled Lens. Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I love when the live chat starts barking.
Yeah.
Okay. That's when we jump. I'll be live later on this afternoon. Sarah and I'll be back with you tomorrow. Thanks to Manta Sleep for the continued support. You guys can use our discount code for 10% off. That's VAULT10, VAULT10. Appreciate all of you guys for hanging out with us on this Thursday. There's 90 minutes of content for you. And yes, Lamar is indeed back at practice. Coordinators will meet up with the media within the next couple hours. So we look forward to that. Appreciate you, partner, as always. And guys, we'll catch up with you on Friday for a Purple Friday instant. There's nothing instantly reacting to unless there's another extension. But the big deal is today is that Travis Jones is in Baltimore under a new contract through the year 2028. We will have repurposed content as we always do, dropping at 4:00 Eastern. And on your way out, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member, gift-giving membership perhaps, and go check out thevaultpod.com/shop because we just dropped a couple different new items for our winter apparel line. So catch up with you guys on Friday. Appreciate you.